everyone, this is Mary Alice Hudson. Our readings point to a number of types of authentic activities and assessments that can be used to assess the impact of applied learning experiences. Lee and colleagues, as well as Austin and Russ, discuss the value of using rubrics to assess the learning outcomes related to applied learning. I love rubrics because they make goals and learning visible. Well-crafted rubrics show students how to achieve the goals of an activity. Rubrics take the guesswork out of completing and assessing assignments. I particularly like the Integrative Learning Value rubric from AACU. I understand that the AACU rubrics were created for institutional evaluation, but they could easily be adapted for use as a grading tool. The 5 areas assessed by the Integrative Learning Value rubric are connections to experience, connections to discipline, transfer, integrated communication, and reflection and self-assessment. These are well aligned with my intentions for the STEM in elementary education applied learning experience I have created. The AACU writes, because integrative learning is about making connections, this learning may not be evident in traditional academic artifacts such as research papers and academic projects, unless the student, for example, is prompted to draw implications for practice. These connections often surface, however, in reflective work, self-assessment, or creative endeavors of all kinds. This speaks directly to the type of assignments that should be created to ensure students engage in critical thinking and reflection that create work samples or collections of work which makes student learning evident and accessible. Henrik and colleagues mention the use of written journals, blogs and blog responses, scaffolded reflections, short articles to analyze synthesized knowledge and experience, written examination and comparison of articles and authors' assumptions, and large group discussions. All of these tools can be used to promote student reflection and critical thinking. However, as Henrik and colleagues point out, activities must be planned to guide student learning and to generate new knowledge related to the applied learning experience. Their use must be intentional, and the instructor must provide modeling and feedback to students. Of these activities, I believe written journals and group discussion are the most relevant to the STEM course I have designed. E-portfolios, as discussed by Herring and Liu and Austin and Russ, can be used to support and display learning across multiple contexts. E-portfolios offer opportunities for student-faculty, student-student, and student-employer interactions. However, as pointed out by the authors, e-portfolios alone don't create meaningful reflection, integration, or analysis of learning. As is true with other types of reflection, assignments and instructor modeling must intentionally promote higher-order thinking and connections between knowledge and experience. E-portfolios have additional value in pre-service teacher education as they can display written and video artifacts and provide a place for pre-service teachers to showcase their teaching as well as their learning. Herring and Liu suggest the inclusion of brief written reflections for each artifact, making e-portfolios a tool for critical reflection and self-assessment. Lee and colleagues write, through active participation and the learner integrates course content with practical skills and critical reflection. Based on this, it seems appropriate to assess the student in action, participating in the applied learning experience, for evidence of application of knowledge. Inclusion of this assessment in pre-service teacher education is very relevant, as teacher observation and assessment are authentic assessments in the teaching profession. Or, if, as in the case of service learning, the goal of the experience is to promote changes in the student's beliefs or values, it would be appropriate to assess the student's sense of civic responsibility or whatever the target outcome may be. Austin and Russ mentioned surveys as a tool to assess student understanding of the value of their contributions in service learning experiences. Throughout my readings, I've seen many references to Kolb's model of experiential learning. As you can see, Kolb's model is a cycle that includes the experience, reflecting on the experience, learning from the experience, and application of knowledge. This model makes a lot of sense to me, so using this model, coupled with the need for critical reflection, as a starting point, I've tried to think of activities and assessments related to each part of the model. In the STEM education course I've planned, an online reflective journal with guiding questions will be used to help pre-service teachers think critically about their coursework and classroom experiences. This journal is intended to help pre-service teachers connect their coursework and classroom experiences as well as develop a habit of reflection and reflective planning. A rubric will be used to assess the degree to which these data show the student's ability to reflect on personal learning experiences as well as the learning experiences of the students in their cooperating classroom. A rubric will be used to evaluate teacher-created integrated STEM lesson plans and the quality of feedback pre-service teachers are able to provide their peers. Lesson plans and peer feedback are designed to demonstrate pre-service teacher ability to identify areas which offer opportunities for subject matter integration and understanding related to the creation and improvement of integrated STEM lesson plans. Rubrics will also be used to evaluate pre-service teacher classroom interactions and implementation of an integrated STEM lesson plan. Rubrics will assess the pre-service teacher's ability to work in an elementary education classroom, observing, assisting, and implementing a lesson, and to design an integrated STEM lesson appropriate for a specific class of elementary school students. I'm undecided about the inclusion of an e-portfolio entry and reflection in this course. I see its potential value as a way to showcase pre-service teachers' work, and I can see how the STEM lesson plan, reflection, and even video could easily be added to an e-portfolio. But it feels like it might be an unrelated, extra, and even unnecessary burden on students. I will have to weigh the value versus the burden to decide about e-portfolios. Thank you for listening. Here are my references.